Hey everybody, today what I want to cover or touch on, being that Christmas is coming up and everybody's kind of freaking out already about supply chains and gift giving and all that, is I kind of get a lot of people reaching out to me asking what we use to do this, what we use to do that. So I'm just going to kind of get into the tools that me and my partners and my workers, we like to use. I mean, we really put everything through its paces more than your average, your weekend warriors, your DIYers who I make a lot of these videos for. So if they hold up for us, they're going to hold up for you really well. I'm going to give you like my top 10, 15 items that are totally available on Amazon, whatever. And I'm going to link all this stuff in the description. And one thing I'll tell you is around Black Friday, all these kits are going to change and the price is going to be different. So I'll keep updating the links in the description below. So if you watch this video like 3 or 4 weeks after it came out, the links might be different than if you watched it tomorrow. And they will, I'm going to keep my eye out on the best, coolest deals, because I'll show you a deal I got like 2 or 3 days ago, just a smoking deal on a Dewalt kit. So anyway, without further ado, I want to get into battery tools. I got a buddy, I helped him move last night, helped him set up beds for his kids, and like he has no tools. And we were kind of talking about, he's like, I need to get a toolkit, I need to get something I need to have around the house. What I'll tell you is you've got Dewalt, Milwaukee, Makita, I think Hitachi, Metabo, whatever they're called now. They're all on a similar plane, while I think every year or two somebody revamps stuff and comes out with a new system. Dewalt has been right up at the top for years. Milwaukee is right there. I kind of consider them 1A and 1B. If you're big Makita people, whatever, I'm not hating on you. I use Makita grinders exclusively. But once you go down a rabbit hole and invest in a technology, like I am pretty heavily invested in Dewalt. My partner is invested in Milwaukee. And your batteries work with every tool, so you would put a little thought into it, look at the tools available. Like I've got a Dewalt grease gun, I've got a Dewalt weed eater that I trim up my house with, a Dewalt blower. And once you go down that rabbit hole, it's very hard to, I like that Milwaukee thing, let's switch. Because I actually have a Milwaukee coat that heats up, and that's the only thing I have in the world that's Milwaukee. So anyway, just kind of do a little research there, and then what I will tell you is the kits are going to be the best deal. Just the batteries, when you buy Dewalt, might be a couple $100s, yet you can get a kit with an impact and a drill and a charger and a battery or two for the same price as the batteries. It's kind of wild. So just to kind of give you a little bit of reference, so I got 2 batteries. They're little 2 amp hours, which aren't awesome. Came with a charger, but the kicker is, came with a brushless drill, a brushless impact, which is the thing we use like literally every day, all day. And something I've not had, it's the little compact reciprocating saw. It's a little version of this guy. And this will really get in, and especially when we're doing pool plumbing and we're down in the ditch between the wall and the dirt. Incredibly handy. And also came with the, I think you call them oscillating cutters. Everybody, the Fine tool was the brand name. When their patent ran out, everybody started making them. But I already have one of these. They are fantastic. It's got a quick change. That entire kit was $299 at Home Depot. The drill and impact with a couple batteries usually go for $299. So effectively, I got a couple of free $150 tools. Winner, chicken dinner. Milwaukee, obviously, everybody calls the reciprocating saw a Sawzall, but that's actually Milwaukee's name for the saw. And Milwaukee has always, in my opinion, had the best Sawzalls. And this is our battery powered one. Anyway, Milwaukee has 18 volt, really, like they call it the M18 fuel. You'll see it all over like Home Depot and stuff. And then Dewalt has 20 volt batteries. But the thing I love, and I'll just show you, so it's funny, it's probably sacrilegious here, but me and my partner both love these boxes, and I'm going to just get into them exclusively here in a second. They're the Packout system. I mean, like, this system's completely locked together. It can't dump, can't do anything. And but I keep all my Dewalt tools in. I keep all my Dewalt tools in here, which is kind of fun. But anyway, the meanest stuff that Dewalt has is their 60 volt line of tools. And this is my favorite tool because I hate rolling out extension cords. I hate rolling out air hoses. So that's the other thing. As as we get further and further down the road, Dewalt just keeps coming out with cool stuff. And these 60-volt tools, this is a 7¼ inch. It's shaped like a worm drive saw. It does not have worm gear, true worm drive. But if you've been a framer in your life and you're used to blade on left worm drive saws, the ergonomics of this thing's awesome. Even with a 60-volt, it's not too heavy. It's heavier than like a Mag 77 skill saw, but it feels just as powerful. I know the torque ratings and stuff probably aren't as high, but with the just electric motors compared, I mean, it's mean. You run it all day without a charge. It's fantastic. The kicker is the 60-volt stuff charges incredibly slowly on a regular charger. And the charger, which walked off of my job about a month ago, that comes special with these saws, is $200 all by itself. Now, the battery's $200, the charger's $200, the saw's $200, and you can buy the whole thing for $400. Again, kits are the way to go, but when you lose that charger, they just want to get you for $200. It's got a cooling fan. It's much faster. These Packout toolboxes are super cool because they lock together. They're really tough. I've got a Dewalt stack over here that it's a few years old, and when you open it, it like has to expand out instead of just being able to take the thing apart. Every box you can customize. They've got electrician's boxes that are like soft-sided boxes. Everything snaps onto this lid kit here, and I have this clear-topped one. That's my vinyl liner. When I go to tap a vinyl liner, hang a vinyl liner, I take this one and just pop it off and just carry it in. I can stack all this stuff, and it also is just right. I have a crew cab GMC Duramax, and it fits, the way the seats fold up, these boxes fit just nice right behind the front seats. So even though I've got toolboxes on my flatbed, I don't really trust them for weather and for theft. Inside my truck, I feel better, and these boxes are they just perfectly, and they're ergonomic. You can pick them up pretty easy, even though they're heavy. And so we love them. This is my partner's set. He's got a bunch of small sets, that pop off, and then he's also got this cool one over here. I think you can still see it. I'll just grab it real quick. This one's a little different for some of his tools. It's got drawers. So you can take that one into the job for the day. Now these boxes are a little bit pricey, but I kind of feel like they'll last forever. So they're kind of a good investment in my mind. We've gone through so many different toolboxes that kind of work. They're kind of nice. I like this feature. I like that feature. I really like everything about these Packout boxes, and we've been beating them up pretty good for the last several months. And all the wheels are still intact. I mean, dragging them across job sites, dropping them out of trucks, and they're holding up fantastic. So I'm kind of going to come out when everybody's like Milwaukee or Dewalt. Milwaukee boxes, Dewalt tools. That's my opinion. Everybody's going to have a different opinion. If it's a name brand, it's a good tool at this point. Everything's good. We actually just got this because we're doing a lot of remodeling right now. We don't always do. I'm so tired of carrying around LED panels or halogens that have cords or rechargeables. This will take any of my Dewalt batteries. It's super bright. It's a tower. It completely packs down to, let's see, and then it can go right here. So it gets that small, fits in anything. And at this point, Dewalt sells a ton of their tools without batteries, so they're really reasonable. It's kind of nice once you're invested in, down a pipeline of tools. There's so many cool things available. So I just said I hate cords, and I'm usually the guy floating around the job site, from job site to job site to job site. It sucks for me to have to roll out a 100-foot cord to do something that's going to take 10 minutes. That's why I love having that skill saw. Same is true with, I hate rolling out a compressor and an air hose and a whole bunch of stuff to fix something. And this is an 18 gauge finish gun. We run a lot of trim and stuff like that with this guy. It's battery operated. They make framing guns, 16 gauge, 15 gauge. Everything you ever had in a pneumatic gun, we still have 4 or 5 pass load, pneumatic nailers, and we'll keep those because when my boys are framing, there's no substitute for air power when you're running sheeting, decking, roof decking, whatever. Anytime you're shooting ring shanks and you need a bump trigger, bam, 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 electric's not going to keep up. However, for every other instance, it's amazing to just jump out of the truck, walk over there with one tool, pop, 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 and walk out. It saves so much time, so much energy. And for trim, I just don't know why. You just don't need to be so fast. I'm never going to have another pneumatic trim gun probably. So anyway, I'm going to clean this stuff up here, get into some of the other cool stuff I want to show you guys. Like I said, I'm linking all of this, but the links will change, you know, a couple times a week as the cool deals start coming out. 'Cause you know how it is with TVs and tools and everything else. There's about to be a lot of smoking deals. I'll try to keep an eye out, help you guys distill the information that will get thrown at you. So, okay, just cleared up everything with the battery tools. Next thing I'm going to hit on is just more of a fun, kind of high-end idea. If you have a discerning carpenter in your life, Stiletto hammers, they're going to know about them if they've been in the trades anytime at all. They're titanium-headed hammers. Some of them have titanium handles as well. This entire hammer weighs 12 ounces. It'll drive like a 24-ounce hammer, so like a steel hammer. But they're about $99. I'll link it on Amazon. They're just a really nice hammer, and they don't fatigue your elbow. Like if you've got a loved one that swings a hammer for a living, this hammer is actually, I mean, you think about every time you swing it, if you're saving 10 ounces and you swing it several hundred times a day, it's hundreds of pounds you're taking off of the wear and tear of your joints. So they're super nice hammer. I highly recommend these guys. So like I said, your tradesman will absolutely love you for this one. Any hobbyist is going to need a Dremel tool. You can see I even have an entire drawer full of Dremel tools. But this kit right here is the one I actually carry with me all the time. And it's just a Dremel 4000. Got a little box of all kinds of stuff. We use... there's this little diamond disc with the quick change blade that cuts just about anything. We do a lot of, on the big house, you know, that we're doing a ton of ACM work, and we have found some of the little intricate cuts. The Dremel tool is the absolute best, but honestly, let's be honest, you can do anything, you know, intricate with a Dremel tool. You just do surgery on any job you have. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you guys, this is more for my pool people, but really anybody that's doing any bulk plumbing around their own place or doing anything. But plumbing cutters, you see them at Home Depot and everything else, but this particular set, this is my second one. I just replaced a set that were 13 years old. I don't know, I had done 25, 30 pools, plumbed all by myself with these. These are big enough to cut 2-inch pipe. Most, I think, at least at my Home Depot, the 1.5 are readily available. They're also like 30 bucks. These are 100, but I mean, they will cut a 2-inch pipe, solid core pipe with one hand. So, I mean, perfect, no burrs, no anything. I mean, obviously, you guys know about plumbing cutters. Just the 2-inch capacity is what makes these special, and most of our plumbing in pools is at least 2 inches. A lot of our spa jets and everything, we run 3, and at that point we're cutting them with a chop saw or a Sawzall, which then you're cleaning up burrs and everything. Okay guys, the next thing I'm going to show you, when you're dealing with anything with ICF, you're going to be using a Pro foam gun. Nudura will send you a case of their own cans. I think Light Deck does too, which is like light form stuff. Foxblocks doesn't sell their own foam, at least I haven't seen it. So we use a lot of great stuff. As long as you keep this thing closed, this will last months, and you can use every drop of it. And the other thing, I've noticed at Home Depot, at least my local Home Depot, they carry this, and they'll carry the blue cans, the window and door, and then you might see the pest control stuff, but in the kind of throwaway cans, and that's like it. Maybe they'll have the fire block stuff, but again, in the throwaway cans. But all of the cans are available with the Pro head on them, so you can use it all. They've got basically liquid nails, construction adhesive foam. We use this to put down Advantech now. It's so nice because it expands into every little nook and cranny. We also use it when we're worried about something on ICF. I'll actually glue aluminum coping down to the ICF form with this stuff, and once it sets up, it's on. You know, we like this. They make a black foam that's actually for waterproofing waterfalls. They've got, like I said, the pest control stuff, fire retardant. They've got foam for everything. Having one of these guns, I mean, the gun's like 30 bucks. All the different cans that are available, if you can find a local retailer. Some of the stuff's hazmat, so it's a little harder to get online, but you totally can. It's just, you might have to wait for shipping. It's not coming in an airplane. But I love these guns, and I keep like multiple different kinds of foam on hand because you can do a lot of quick fixes with the right kind of foam. You try to use just the high expansion insulation foam for everything, and you'll kind of get into a pickle. But these guns are awesome. I'll link there's a couple of them that are junk, and so I'll link a couple of the ones we really like on down below. This knob turns up to open them. Every single time I put it down, I make sure it's off because you never know when you're going to walk off. If you leave it open, come back after a weekend, if any little bit of air is getting in there, it'll set up in here. Okay, real quick, I'm going to come in here a little closer. I'm going to show you my two favorite wire strippers. Like I said, between pools and a lot of the LED work we do around our fancy projects, we end up stripping a good bit of wire. These Southwire, well, actually these are Klein. These Klein strippers, I love them. I don't know if you can see them. If I can't get this thing to focus, I will show you an actual non-beat up pair. But they actually just strip 12 and 14 gauge wire, but they also strip the Romex. They've got a 14 and a 12 gauge Romex stripper. I love that. I hate having to slice them, cut them off. My electrician can like score them real fast with his strippers, and he looks like a pro. I've never been very good at it. I always nick a wire. So being able to just clamp down on these and then pull the Romex off is just freaking fantastic. So I use these a lot when I'm around a house. Now these little guys, these are also Klein, but you've probably seen these. These you just clamp down on whichever, it goes anywhere from 16 gauge AWG to 22 gauge. So 14, 18 gauge braided wire, and you just clamp it. They cut and pull the insulation off all in one motion, which is super nice. And when we're doing LEDs, we're using a lot of like 18 gauge or 20 gauge wire, and this comes in super handy because these don't. I carry another little pair of these that is nice, but this pair is so fast. I mean, you're just stripping them. So I think these are about 30 bucks. These are about 20, and they're both really pro quality tools. So if you're going to be doing a lot of hobby electrical, you want a bunch of LED strips around your house, one or both of these are really, really handy. So, okay. So as we get into winter, I'm probably going to be doing a lot more videos in my shop, and the shop is like 6 out of 10 and clean right now, so I'm not going to turn the camera around and show it to you. Honestly, we've been trying so hard to catch up on pools. It's half my shop is a storage unit right now. This little guy here, if you guys are doing anything where straight cuts, you're doing something in your garage, you don't have a table saw or whatever, this rail system is sweet. It comes, I think it's like 80 bucks. It comes with two of these that snap together with these little, connectors, and then it comes with this mounting plate. I've got this, I've got it on a skill, like a Sidewinder skill saw. If you notice my blade's on the left, I learned carpentry with worm drives. I can't cut with blade on right saws. So I actually special ordered the saw so it would work for me. But these rails can go either way. And it just sits right there and it slides right along there. And it's got these little rubber things that it's just friction. Once it's laying on the plywood, it won't move. And I'm telling you guys, it makes clean cuts. I've got like a 40 tooth blade, a Diablo on here, and we get, table saw quality, glue joint ready cuts with the skill saw. So if you're doing a lot of carpentry, the AccuCut is super cool. It's like I said, everything Craig makes is great. A lot of it is maybe a little overpriced, like their clamps. I mean, I love them, but good Lord. But this thing I think is actually fairly reasonable for all that you get. Really what I'm going to show you is, we're doing an eco finish where we're dealing with a lot of stinky epoxies, and the indoors, the eco finish itself isn't very bad, but it burns a lot of propane. So when we're indoors, we have to wear respirators, and you can get a regular like 3M respirator, full face mask, an N100 for all you mask aficionados. But the kicker I hate about all these masks is that the cartridges don't last that long, especially when you're spraying paints. The particulates just load them so fast, and they're expensive. I mean, you can go through a $30 set of cartridges in a day. If you have a 5-day job, that's like a real consideration. And not to mention, once they're about half loaded, you're getting a good bit of like lacquer fume or whatever inside your mask. So just playing around, and I mean, maybe some of you guys will say these aren't great, but I've been using them to great effect. It's a little system that instead of having the cartridge, this little guy snaps on to both of them, and you wear this as a belt. It's got a little filter in here. And most of the time air compressor air kind of smells kind of oily and fishy and weird. I don't know what this filter does exactly, but it's very fresh air by the time it gets to your face. So it's kind of like a scuba mask. I wear this belt, I hook onto an air hose. If you watch my last video up here about the Eco Finish, I was wearing this when I did the muriatic acid etch, because I mean it was indoors and there was just acid fumes everywhere, and I'd probably died in about 1 minute without this. But with this, I didn't even know there was acid in there. So I mean, I wore rubber boots in this and I was golden. So I'll link, this is like, I don't know, about $120 mask that just everybody, you can buy them at Home Depot, whatever. But this little kit here is what I dig. It did come with the wrong, it was some kind of like foreign air fitting. So I had to put my own fitting in here because it was some janky thing that didn't work. But beyond that, I think they're super cool. We actually got 3 more of them ordered right now, because when we do Eco Finish, like for hotels, nobody can be in there once we start with the propane. It's just terrible. And I showed up with this thing and just finished the job because it was completely, I was impervious to the fumes with that thing because I was feeding air from outside. There's no, I put the compressor, 100 feet away and it didn't affect me. Okay, so the last tool I'm going to show you is one we use all the time on our swimming pools and our houses, because obviously our ICF work is there's a good bit of rebar work. And like I said, most of you contractors are going to know what this is. This is a Max twin tire. This is the newest model. These retail a little over $2,000, but let me give you a but. I started kind of doing the math, and maybe they save me $300 to $400 per pool in labor. So you're thinking, well, okay, that's going to take you 5 pools to pay for this thing, but it saves me so much time that I could actually have 2 guys that would have been on a pool for a day, day and a half tying rebar, because a typical monopore pool that I'm doing, the Eco Finish ICF, 2.5 tons of rebar, 8-inch centers, floor and wall everywhere. All that tying, I can have 1 guy do it in like 3 or 4 hours instead of 2 guys. Those 2 guys can be at another pool. So I can actually raise my volume, and so it's not really about how it saves me money, it's how it increases my output that I really started seeing the value. Just think about, so it loads up here and just kind of, and that's how quick you can tie 1 tie rebar. And it's not quite like a bump trigger on a nail gun, but it is fast. And you can tie a bunch of rebar. The tie wire, I think we're still on our first box, and we've done like 4 pulls. So we've tied something like 8 to 10 tons of rebar with 1 box of wire. So anyway, I think that's all the tools I'm going to show you today. As I just kind of, I know there's, I've talked to a few people that are like, hey, I need to get this, I need to get that. What's going to happen Christmas? Christmas is going to be, I'm like, I haven't seen the shortages yet. I mean, we're dealing with them in the pool industry. I can't get resins, I can't get all kinds of stuff that I need. But I'm talking about tools. I mean, they seem well stocked right now. I'm not saying wait till December 20th, but at the moment I haven't gone looking for something that I couldn't get. So I'm going to link all this stuff for you guys. Like I said, next week I'm going to have one on some toys that I think are super cool. I'm going to have a bonus episode this week. Bought the wife a one-wheel Pint X so she can quit riding mine and go ride with me. Like I said, guys, we're coming into Christmas. Try to keep positive and not letting the supply chains and all the time sucks that are going on in the world right now and the trades get us down too much, because I think that we're looking to better times very soon. So anyway, hope you guys have a Merry Christmas.